Well, I don't like it because I don't really like getting bossed around all the time like that, because you're getting bossed around constantly, and I don't like the things that, like their sports. I don't like their sports, and I don't like their dancing, and I don't like anything that they do, really.
What about the other kids, though?
Some of them are nice and some of them aren't.
Mm. Why wouldn't they be nice?
Because they tease you and things like that.
Why would they tease you?
Because you live on a commune and you're a hippie. And they reckon you're a hippie because they reckon that you don't have baths or anything like that, or you don't wash yourself.
Right. If they call you a hippie, what do you call them?
Straight.
I see people from the Nambucca Valley with the dog, so you've certainly produced competitors from far and wide. It certainly gives me great pleasure to take this opportunity to declare the 1983 Nimbin show officially open.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Let me congratulate the exhibitors here today. I've been coming to the show on a few occasions, and I'm always amazed to see the turnout that we get here, not only in the quality of the exhibit.
I've been here 37 years. I'm on the Progress Association, and the alternates on the overall, there's two classes. There's certainly a class that establish themselves very well in the area, and I don't think they have many enemies at all, really, amongst the straights, as we are commonly known, straight and alternates.
You're a straight, are you?
I consider myself a straight, and I'm proud to be called myself a straight. Or perhaps a square, you might put it that way.
So why wouldn't you want to be a hippie?
Oh, well, that sort of thing doesn't prove to me at all, appeal to me in any way, really. Oh, well, I mean, if you class yourself as a hippie, and the hippie style of life that they live, it's just not on, as far as I am concerned. If you're living, if you're going to be swimming in the nutty and all this sort of thing, well, that's not my cup of tea. It's just not on as far as I'm concerned. No way.
You know, once I used to live down in the city, dodging policemen and cars and trams and trucks. Cars, trams and trucks. But now I've got the fresh air and the gum trees, where I've learned how to sing and how to dance. But life's tough for the man on the land, so I went to get relief for unemployment. Oh, the man was being very nice to me, so nice to me, till he asked me, what's your usual occupation? I jumped on his desk and began to shout with glee. Well, I'm a dope smoking bisexual hippie. I don't think you'll let your daughter marry me. You know I'm on the go and I like playing rock and roll, but I'm hungry, so please take me home for tea. Some folks came to see us down the farm, raising money for a mission overseas, to educate the black man, suck him into a vacuum, sell him coke, whiskey and colour TV. I said with dope smoking bisexual hippie, I don't think you'd let your daughter marry me. You know I'm on the dole and I like playing rock and roll, but I'm hungry, so please take me home for tea.
Nimbin's got its problems, as anywhere has. Like, it attracts a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. A lot of happy, joyous, positive people who come here to give, and a lot of lost, confused people who come here to find out. And sometimes there's a place for them, sometimes they find what they're looking for, and sadly other times they don't.
What do you mean by confused people, specifically?
Well, sort of refugee people who've been battered around by the city a bit, like maybe come up here looking for things that I was looking for and am still looking for.
Yeah. Such as?
Peace of mind, productivity, fulfilment, peace of mind, mainly, I would say. What are we all looking for?
Each night in Nimbin, though, there are some very unpeaceful minds, and it's a very different scene to that you're painting now.
That's true. That is true. It's not. I don't know what the answer is. Like a lot of people come looking for something, they don't find it. There is a strong nihilistic, hedonistic streak in some people which comes out in a situation like this, where maybe the baby gets thrown out with the bathwater, as far as people rejecting their conditioning goes, or whatever. But that's life, that's humanity. I see that as being a product of society at large, which manifests itself here, as opposed to being a product of the lifestyle here.
The more who come searching for solutions for society and for themselves, the more pressure is placed on this paradise. Go to Nimbin as a path to fulfilment, or even for the young and homeless, a place to find shelter. Increasingly, they're finding that paradise is full. As a couple, these people share the positive freedoms, considerable beauty, and a supportive sense of community in Nimbin, elements that first attracted them and have kept them here over the decade. But their work takes them close to the hearts of the dream weavers and refugees who still look to Nimbin. Jenny Dell is a journalist. Her partner, Harry Freeman, continues his work as a psychiatrist in the area. He's right in the front line.
In the town, there are a number of refugees, young people who use a lot of alcohol and other drugs, really, to try to get away from their own miserable experience, and that is a very short-term solution. And they come here because most human beings rather foolishly believe that they can get away from themselves by moving their physical body, and of course they can't. So yes, in Nimbin town there are a lot of folk who are looking for something and probably not yet finding it, but a lot of them do gradually move out of town. But that is not all that easy to do, as Jenny says. Yes, you've got to have some money and some motivation and some hope to get out of town.
Right. That's the problem, I think, that although we can see these young people as coming here looking for something, many of those people would actually deny that they were coming here looking for anything, because the popular sort of stance and way of looking at the world among those folk is a very nihilistic stance. There isn't anything, there isn't any point, it isn't worth it, life isn't worth living, and I don't know what I'm doing here. And from that position, it's very hard for them then, with so much denial, to allow themselves to get into enjoyment of the beauty and a creative contribution to the lifestyle up here, because they're starting from a point of view where they're denying that they're here for that anyway.
I see a park where a lot of folk live and who don't have even the desire to have a nest, to have a home. I think when human beings, when this creature gets to the point where it doesn't want a nest at all even, it's become fairly desperate. And there are a considerable number of people who just sleep under a bridge or sleep in the park almost all year round in Nimbin. And they are the folk that are truly refugees from the city. and they've come from unemployed and hopeless family situations where they have never felt any belongingness, and they do have a belief that they will get that sense of belongingness up here to this tribe, and some of them make it.
If those people are living under bridges all year round, as you say, does your sense of sympathy or charity ever get exhausted?
Well, I suppose really that not very much is offered to them by those of us who live here already, other than what I think comparatively is quite a high level of tolerance, in the sense that not only, I mean, there's nothing to be tolerated about them sleeping under bridges. If they want to do that, then, you know, there's no problem with that. But on occasions when they become really drunk and angry and blow out in the main street, which happens very often, when people screaming and cursing in the main street in the dead of night, then we have a really high level of tolerance where this community says, that's okay, you can do that here, and we won't lock you up, and we won't throw you out. I mean, you can get away with it, you know, quite a few times, and then if it becomes really a habit or happens every night, sooner or later somebody will gently sort of edge you out of town. But up to that point, there is a very, very high level of tolerance. I don't think that we give that much, that our sympathy and compassion becomes exhausted, because after all, there's a really important sense in which we have created those people being here just by being here ourselves and creating the Nimbin myth. And it's that that's drawn them here. It is we who have attracted them here. And so there's a very important sense in which we're responsible for them to some degree.
For those who have found peace of mind, productivity and fulfilment in the born-again dairy town of Nimbin, they see the cities as uncaring for the troubled. For those still looking for the peace, the mythology of Nimbin rings hollow. They're left to search elsewhere for paradise.